Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. You guys have been asking me to do more cultural content, and I want to oblige you. But not just with cultural content about England, even though I love doing English content, we're going to be doing a lot of content about the entire continent. How many C's am I going to say in this one intro? Anyways, like I said, we're going to be doing content about the whole continent. We got Europe, European stereotypes that the world sees. Now, I don't really have any stereotypes specifically other than the ones about British people. Bad teeth, ill-mannered, they love their tea, but I know none of that is true. Now, the only, stereotypes I could say about European cultures are similar also to, Asian and Middle Eastern and some African. Like, the women are supposed to be in the kitchen, the man runs the household, the man is blah, 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 blah. You know, those very stereotypical gender roles. Now, let's see what other European stereotypes there are. Subscribe to me here, like the video, do all that, and here we go. I still feel like I'm very zoomed in. Yeah.
So far in our stereotypes videos, we've picked on a handful of countries and talked in some detail about each place. Today we're going to spread the net much wider and cover many countries, but because of that we'll only be able to mention a few stereotypes. We might call these the biggest or most prevailing stereotypes of that country. Some of these will no doubt be quite amusing or even insulting, so please take them with a grain of salt.
Okay, no one get butthurt, no one cry in my comment section. Favour, why would you do a video this disrespectful? You have no respect for your audience. It's not that serious. Now, before you get your pennies in a twad, let's talk about American stereotypes. We're loud, we eat junk food, we're loud, we're very patriotic, we love our guns, etc., etc. Everybody has their own thing going on, so whatever.
We're going to include all of the 28 European Union members, but not all of the 50 countries in Europe and those handful of transcontinental countries. Without further ado, welcome to this episode of the Infographic Show, Stereotypes about different European countries.
What is a transcontinental country? I'm thinking he means those border countries that are technically European, but could also pass as I don't know, the other areas, Asian, blah, 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 you know?
We'll go through the list in alphabetical order, and that means our first place is Austria. We'll hazard a guess and say that many of our viewers haven't visited this small country that sits in Central Europe.
Nope.
For that reason, you'll know little more about Austrians than the dubious fact that they all like to drink beer, wear funny green hats, and of course enjoy yodeling.
Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. That's Austria. Well, The Sound of Music was filmed in Austria, and they had yodeling in that movie, so I guess it makes sense. Whenever I think of Austria, I wasn't thinking of that outfit though. I was thinking more of a simplistic kind of outfit, like babushka, you know?
Over in Belgium, people are also natural-born beer connoisseurs, but besides that, they love nothing more than filling their faces with fries and chocolate. According to the stereotype, they are a funny breed who take life at a relaxed pace, except they can't seem to agree on speaking just one language.
Very true. When I was in Brussels, I was surprised to see how much diversity there was. And I feel, yeah, for sure. Belgium was the prettiest country I was in when I was in Europe. I went to Netherlands, I went to England, and I went through some of France. Belgium was gorgeous though. So shout out to the Belgians.
As for Bulgarians, well, we know you don't know much about them. What we can tell you is that in the small world of stereotypes, Bulgarian men are all macho tough guys.
I wear the pants in this household, that kind of thing. I don't really agree with that lifestyle, but to each their own.
All the politicians there are corrupt, and of course you won't go far in Bulgaria without meeting a gypsy.
Ooh, that's cool. Like a real life gypsy. But what did he mean by all the politicians are corrupt? Oh man.
We're in Croatia, the land of beautiful women. It's a land of coffee shops and heavy smokers. Everyone is superstitious and they are generally a friendly bunch. Just don't go getting into arguments about those bad times in the 90s. Now,
okay, Croatia, we might have to look up the history, what happened in the 90s.
On Cyprus, the sun-bleached nation where everyone is devout Christian, these tanned-skinned islanders live a life of leisure even if they are not rich. Their doors are always open to the traveler who wants to check out the laid-back lifestyle. It's certainly nothing like that in the Czech Republic, where the people can seem hostile and rude at first. Don't worry, they don't mean it. The men spend half their life in the pub watching sports and drinking, but the women stay home and cook.
Gender roles. So a big thing over in Europe is the alcohol. Can't relate over here. It's not as big. I mean, yeah, people love to go to the bars and watch the games at the bars, and by games I mean like football, basketball. But like, it's not like embedded in our culture, alcohol and stuff.
It's easy to spot them as they all have a funny sense of what fashion is. Ah, Denmark, one of those places in the world where no one is poor.
Yeah, I really want to come to Scandinavia. What?
Has there been any mail?
I left all the mail on the table downstairs.
Which table?
The one by the fridge. As I was saying, Scandinavia, want to come, but hella expensive. I mean, how are you going to fund that free healthcare and stuff, free education? Must be nice, but Jesus, my pockets!
In fact, all Danes have good jobs and never worry about being broke. They are a bit depressed though, what with everything being flat and the sky always being gray.
Oh, well come to California for a week. If you can afford it, go on vacation. You live in Europe, my God. Take a train to Italy. Y'all people in Europe can't complain about sadness or boredom when you literally live 5 feet from the Eiffel Tower.
For that reason, they have a lot of, open relationships. Some of the men still think that they are Vikings, so they join motorcycle gangs and cause trouble.
Yeah.
As for Estonians, not many people know much about them as they get few visitors. We do know that all the women are tall and attractive, and the men are quite macho. But maybe the macho days are over because the stereotype now says Estonians are all computer geniuses. We can throw in a few hackers, too.
I mean, Estonia. It's kind of... I guess just like in America, how you have the name brand states, you know, California, New York, Florida maybe, Texas. But then you have those like ones who were also here but nobody cares about. Minnesota. Utah. You know, no one's saying, hey, I want to go on vacation in Utah. Then again, one of y'all were in my comment section talking about you vacation in America and you came through all the southern states, Alabama and stuff. Odd. That's out of all places in America, you came to the South. For vacation? Whatever. Hope you had fun.
Finland, well, people don't exactly live the Vita Loca. It's a functional place and everything is clean,
Hella
but
cold.
still many people choose to live in the forest in wooden huts where they brew vodka over a log fire. Here, folks enjoy their isolation, so don't be surprised if no one speaks to you.
I don't care. I want to come to all the Scandinavian countries.
Just do what they do. Keep your head down and enjoy the saunas that are everywhere.
No, I'm going to say hi to everyone.
France is easy because it's one of the most stereotyped places on the planet. Yeah, they drink a lot of wine, and yes, they love their food and hate the English. They are a haughty bunch, critical of many things, and are not afraid to tell you. They seem to have a penchant for the stranger things in life, and that's why they have a history of making very messed up movies or writing books that most of the world think should be banned.
Very true. But I don't believe in banning any sort of media. But what was... He just skimmed over that, hating the English. What happened with the French and the English? Or am I opening a can of worms here? I feel like it has to do with the redcoats. But explain anyway.
The French don't care. They are proud of being the world's avant-garde. The French...
They did invent French kissing.
May have some misgivings about their neighbors, the Germans. For good reason, too. Those Germans are just good at everything. They are never, ever late, and even take great pains in organizing just a breakfast. They are all born with an acumen for engineering, but unfortunately this hasn't helped their ability to cook cuisine that isn't bland.
German food. I mean, when you think of German food, hamburger, hot dog, yes, but those are American at this point. Like, we've taken them. Even if the word is German, it's American food. But what other food is German food? Like, in England, y'all got your intestines and stuff. What do the Germans have? What is this? I was about to say, what is the staple of Germany? Like how France has the Eiffel Tower, Germany has World War II. Dang. What else do they got? Someone boost the morale for Germany. What's going on there in today's time?
All they seem to eat is sausage and potato and sauerkraut, washed down with beer, of course.
Ew.
Life is very different in Greece, where the folks live a much more laid-back lifestyle. They are all hairy for some reason, including the women. Nothing is more important than family, and you'll find the Greeks spending hours around the family table involved in gossiping about someone else's family.
That's like the real life Greece life, though, because when I think of Greece, I think of Mykonos, I think of those white cliffs with the blue water. Ugh, gorgeous. If you're in Greece, you're living life.
In Hungary, it's back to grim weather. To counter that, they eat stew for pretty much every meal. everyone is quite tall and speaks a language that no one in the world can learn if they didn't grow up speaking it. That's not such a bad thing, seeing as they like to argue and will have loads of contradictory and pessimistic opinions to annoy you.
So very opposite to Americans, because we're very optimistic. You know, if you work hard enough, you can get it. The morale over in not England, but in Europe does seem a bit down. Like, I guess if you're in a landlocked country, it's not as fun, it seems.
Over to Ireland, and everyone in this alcohol-soaked nation likes nothing more than to sing and be merry. They love a bit of the craic, and no, we're not talking about the kind you smoke with a pipe. Don't make them angry though, as the men, and women actually, are natural-born boxers.
And did you know, it's funny that he uses the redheads as the stereotype, but the most redheads are in Scotland, not Ireland, even though you would think it'd be in Ireland.
Well, that's beside all the soft-spoken poets living in Ireland. A strange stereotype came from Sigmund Freud, who once famously said they were the only people who are impervious to psychoanalysis.
Sigmund Freud was a weirdo.
Italians, on the other hand, don't bottle anything up because they just talk and shout and argue with anyone and everyone. These people are passionate about everything, especially food. If they can, they'll do everything the easiest way possible, even if that means breaking a few rules.
I like that. Work smarter, not harder. I mean, the only reason that it's technically illegal is because it is the smarter way to do something or have something or gain something. That usually make it illegal and make it harder. Capitalism. But that's against the point. I really want to come to Italy. I don't know why I didn't go last time I was in England. I don't know why. I feel like it's because I took the Eurostar and maybe it wasn't available. Because I started off in London, specifically Barking, explored all of England area, or I guess central London area, and then took a train through Naples in France, the country part, ended up in Utrecht, Amsterdam, went over to, no, not Amsterdam, the Netherlands, in Utrecht and Amsterdam, then took a train to Brussels, Belgium, spent like a week, and then went back to London. I should have went to Italy at some point. Gosh dang it. I wasn't thinking.
They are yet to grasp political correctness when it comes to sexual relations, and for them, a bit of wolf whistling is fair game.
Don't do it over here. But it's a different country. Let them do what they want over there. How would I react? See, I'm going to have to adjust. You always have to adjust, I guess, but when you come to a different culture, because you have to respect the culture, but at the same time, I don't want to be whistled at. Ew.
You could say people really enjoy the 3 Fs, food, football, and fashion. And to be sure, they'll tell you all about it. We know much less about Latvia, perhaps only that it's one of those Baltic nations that quite likes to drink now and again. They also eat a lot of fish.
You're seeing, there's a common, like, theme with these outfits. They're all very, like, the dresses, the male outfits, they're very, I don't even know the word to describe them, very cultural, basically. I feel like y'all don't wear this stuff on the day-to-day, right? Because this is not practical to get to the city in or anything like that, you know?
They have a strange sense of humor that you won't understand. Don't tell them they are Russian, as that won't go down well. They are a tough bunch usually, but will cry if their hockey team loses. Over to Lithuania, a country famous for its incredibly high suicide rate and consumption of alcohol.
Oh, that's dark.
Again, don't tell these folks they are part of Russia, as they won't like that. When they are in good moods, they like nothing more than to knock back some vodka while singing and dancing along to the accordion.
Okay, so what was going on with Russia? We got to go back to history. What was going on with Russia and these like bordering countries of Russia? I assume it had to do with invasions and conquerings, maybe even the USSR. Yeah, it seems like there's very bad blood going on there. Very sad history.
As for Luxembourg, it's so small.
Congrats on your independence, but independence from who? Look at the little population area.
That it's almost hidden. Everyone here has money, and most people either work in the civil service, the steel industry, or are farmers.
Well, good for y'all. Shout outs to you. You're, what's their minimum wage over there then? You must have a lot of resources too, which means you can export to people. Though you're a landlocked country, so how would you get to the masses? I don't know. But how does Luxembourg work? What's going on with their finances? How are they all rich?
They don't get out much, and we mean out of the country, so it's unlikely you'll ever meet one of these mysterious people. Imagine a bit of German and French mix, and you are close. Now for the Maltese, another nation full of laid-back people. They have a special relationship with goats, and they love their bread. A traditional bunch, they enjoy church, dancing, and gossiping with the whole family intact.
So, in a lot of ways, Europe is very modernized, but at the same time, it's very, very, very old-timey. Like you just said, the goats, the making your own bread, having super Christian ordeals. Like, it's almost as if it's still the 1800s in some aspects.
Over to the Netherlands, the country of progressive clog wearers
Yeah!
who speak perfect English but with a very funny accent.
And there were a lot of dispensaries, and by dispensaries, I mean the green grass. Whenever I went. A lot. I wasn't expecting that. And Frank's house. I didn't get to tour inside, but I did stand outside, and it was very moving.
These tall, blue-eyed people like nothing more than to ride around on a bicycle stoned out of their minds. If they are not doing that, they are tending to their windmill or tulip garden.
It was
Now to
very
Poland,
pretty.
the land of rude people who will not spare your feelings by speaking nice to you about your weight.
Oh! Rude! Talking about your weight, it does give very much like auntie, 50-year-old woman who's just angry about everything, who wants to diss you about your weight. Yeah. That's a lot of the European cultures, though, or countries.
They've taken some grief from Germany and Russia in the past, and this has made some of them a little bitter and aggressive.
Yeah, now that I think about it, they can be as mean as they want for what they had to endure. Call people fat as much as you want, Polish people. Do what you want. You've had the hard end of the stick for more than anyone else in the world deserved. So you can do whatever you want in my book. As long as you don't invade anyone, you know.
Half the country moved to the UK, but now they all went back home to greener pastures. In Portugal, people are much more relaxed to the point of laziness. All the men are handsome and have bronze skin, while the women like to cook while listening to fado music.
Gender roles, don't stand them.
They take life easy for the most part because they know it'll be over soon enough. And one thing, stop confusing them with the Spanish. Kinda like the Indians, they have a thing for mustaches.
Stop confusing. Okay, but whenever I was watching, or I did a Brazilian reaction, and they were like, and I said, hey, how the heck do y'all speak Portuguese, but you're Brazilian? What about the Portugal people? What do they speak? And it was a can of worms that I wish I did not open. So we're going to move on and not talk about that.
In Romania, life is much tougher according to the stereotype. Poverty is everywhere, and small grisly children live in the sewers. They are very religious, and some of them believe in witches. A pastime there is for gypsies to put spells on you.
What the heck? So the more religion, it seems like, the more, like, less modern the country is. Which I'll even say about America, too. Like, for an advanced first world country, the fact that we still have religion so embedded in our culture is odd. Which makes sense now.
As for Slovakians, it's a country full of castles, but not like those scary ones in Romania. It gets lumped in with all those former Soviet Union countries, while most people think they are the same as Slovenians. So yes, the stereotype exists that says folks wander around in traditional dress, drinking vodka, singing and fighting.
That's what we're noticing about a lot of these Eastern European countries. Traditional dress, traditional gender roles, that, alcohol. Basically, that's all of Europe. Traditional outfits, alcohol, and women in the kitchen.
When they are not doing that, they are dreaming of a holiday on a Croatian beach. As for Slovenians, seeing as half the world thinks they're the same as Slovakians, we might share the stereotypes. But as the stereotype goes, these mountain-loving folks love their houses and making everything in them just right.
Slovenia, Slovakia. Slovenia, why so similar?
They work hard, speak foreign languages, but it's said they share some of that melancholy that people often experience in Scandinavia. The Spanish don't. They live the joie de vivre, even if it means sitting about all day drinking sangria and watching soccer on TV.
I really freaking want to come to Spain. I don't know why I didn't go to Italy or Spain when I was over there. Gosh dang it. And now I'm tied down for at least a year. I graduate in December from nursing school. Then I'm going to have to take the NCLEX exam, pass that, and then do a Peri-Op 101 program or get a job in the OR. And then I'm going to go to
They don't care. They live in a warm country full of beauty, with beaches too. They stay up.
Okay, what do you call that stuff again with the bull? Bullfighting. Should we react to that? Let me know if you're interested. It might be a bit extreme for YouTube, but I'm interested in it because, like, the history behind it. How did you say red cape? Now lunge at me. Horns. And that's a sport? Crazy.
Up late, flirt all the time, sometimes torture bulls, and enjoy the Eurovision Song Contest.
Eurovision! I'm happy that he mentioned it. On the main channel and my music channel, y'all know we are in Eurovision.
As for the Swedish, these blonde-haired, blue-eyed tall people live in the snow, or some people might think so. They are open-minded, but suffer from sadness, as everyone in that part of the world does.
What? Okay, so what country was it where he said the rate is high, and now he's saying the people in Sweden are depressed? Maybe it has to do with y'all's like outlook on life. You've got to be happier. You've got to like realize that there's 1,000 things out there for you. You just have to go get them, you know? Be optimistic. Take a little bit of the Americanness from me. Be happy. Man, I just don't get it. How can you be sad when you live in Europe? Free healthcare. Things are relatively cheap. I don't know.
They live in the...
And also, the blue-haired, blonde-eyed people are also in Iceland. I saw a lot of them, and it was like culture shock at first. So I was like, whoa, what's going on here, robot people?
dark much of the time, so it's pretty easy to understand. They don't worry about money or finding good work, and they tell jokes about the Norwegians. They like pastry, coffee, and some weird meats. They also keep a very clean house, and country for that matter.
They said talk about the Norwegians. How are you gonna talk shit about your next door neighbor? That's funny.
Last on the list is the UK, a country stacked with pie-eating poor people fighting over soccer and politics. Their overlords have funny, posh accents and still think they are living in the Middle Ages.
We love the England for everything that it is and everything that it lacks. Let's just say it that way. Also, we're not getting into that. We're not moving on.
Working people like the pub, a safe place to hide from the perpetual rain and cold. They have white skin that burns easily, drink a lot of tea, and everyone watches hours of telly daily, which is full of programs showing them nice sunny places they could visit if they had any money.
Oh! Man. What? This guy really did... Okay. He kind of made it seem desirable when he talked about the beaches and stuff, but it seems like the way he painted Europe, it's like if you go here, you're going to be sad and depressed. Which is not the case at all, I know that. Let me know how your home is, where you're originally from, your country, and is this video correct about how it is in your country? Let me know down below. Like the video too. Bye!